Oh no.
What?
I forgot audio hijack.
I did last time too. What's ACME dash challenge?
Acme.
Yeah, what is that?
That is the protocol used by Let's Encrypt. Most likely is what you're into.
So I want to keep this A entry then.
Yeah. You probably want to keep that.
Okay. So
If you want your certificates to keep automatically updating, yeah. You probably want to keep that.
So just want to warn people. I think we might get a little nerdy today.
I'm going to sleep. I have no idea what this guy's talking about.
What?
I'm the least nerdiest of the two of us.
Oh, I thought you were saying you're going to sleep.
I mean, yeah, because I have no idea what's going on. I can't talk nerd stuff, man. I'm the least nerdiest of the two of us. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You're not the person I go to say, hey, teach me SES.
I just had my brand new AI pen that quickly gave me the answer to that question about Acme is where I got that answer from.
You got a brand new AI pen?
No.
Oh.
This whole conversation is false. It's like, no, I don't even want another one.
Did you hear there's rumor of Apple coming out with one in 27 and Sarah is like, there's going to be a button on it? Apple with a button? I think it was Sarah that said that.
Yeah, that sounds kind of... That sounds
I hope it's
overly...
vaporware.
I don't even think it's vaporware because I don't think Apple's even making this. Like, I think somebody saw a thing and they just went crazy with it because it like, what's the word I'm looking for? Physics don't allow that thing to exist. Look at how freaking big the camera bump is on your iPhone. Mm-hmm. You think they're going to put two cameras in something the size of I mean, pen? Literally the camera lens on my phone is nearly as big as a AirTag, like in diameter. So what are you talking about? Two cameras and 3 microphones and a button? Man, get the hell out of here. I'll believe it when I see it.
Yeah, probably not coming to fruition, but
yeah, that's like the whole Apple's making a TV.
Yeah. Or a home hub. I'm starting to believe now too, because I don't. Do you think they're actually going to make one of those?
I think that is a thing that they are trying to make. And I think where they're struggling, there's 2 areas where I believe they're struggling with that particular product. I do believe they want to release one. I think that it is necessary also for them to release something of this manner because, frankly, your TV is not everywhere and we're all not rich. So we don't have little small TVs with Apple TVs hooked up to them in our kitchen. But where I think they're struggling at is, number one, they don't have the Siri integrations that they want to have in order for that device to be actually useful. Mm-hmm. And I think despite how much, even sometimes internally, Apple can get high on their own supply, I think even they realize, like, if they were to release a device like that now that basically was a HomePod as it stands today, meaning with the Siri that we have today on a HomePod with a screen for $400, $500. Yeah, like, I don't know, man. The stock market might just yank the whole rug out from up under because it's dumb. Like, you don't have the intelligence to do it. So that's one holdup for them. I think we're now navigating closer to that problem being solved with them choosing to use a customized version of Google's. And I'm going to say this very specifically in this particular context. They have made a deal with Google to use Google's AI models customized to run on their own cloud hardware. And also, I'm assuming, be a part of their smaller on-device models. And I'm specifically saying that and not saying Gemini because Gemini is what Google has turned this LLM product into. And people keep saying they're getting Gemini, and I don't think that's what they're getting. And if you travel that path with me for a bit, look at what Perplexity does. Like, I think that's the best way for people who are really paying attention to the AI stuff in the way that we do. And some people are paying way too much attention to it. But look at Perplexity, right? Mm-hmm. you can choose a model that's on the back end, but whatever you get out on the front end is all being filtered through a layer that is specific to Perplexity. So even if you choose ChatGPT 5.2 as your back end model, if they're offering that, and you're on the pro plan, which if you listened to us about 3 months ago, you would be, because it was free. But if you didn't listen to us 3 months ago, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't think it's worth $20 a month. I'm going to be frank with you. I don't even use it. It's free. And if you were not listening to the show 3 months ago, well, you should have listened to that friend that told you, a year ago to check out the show. Stop being me when Mike tells me stuff. Listen to your friends. They only trying to help you. But that is all filtered through the thing that Perplexity has also built on top of that. So they're managing a model. No matter which one you pick, they're managing said model and filtering and they're custom prompting it. They're making it a more simpler way of trying to put that.
Right.
And I believe that's what Apple is. Apple is getting the LLM that Google has built minus any, this is just my expectations. Let me put that there. Minus any prompting that Google has given their tool that we use that is called Gemini. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It is just the raw, okay, here's the thing. It's built. It has not been prompted, shaped. Probably has the basic guardrails that you would put in place that Google would have in place anyway, but it's not really been tailored or tweaked, or trained specifically the way that Gemini has been, because that's not what Apple wants.
Yeah.
The Apple wants their own thing. They just can't build it. So they outsource it. It's like when Apple couldn't, didn't have their own servers, they didn't just go use, I doubt they, I know for sure they didn't just, go to HostGator or something. Like, yeah, we're going to have everybody sign into their iCloud account through a HostGator interface. No, they went to AWS to outsource their cloud. Mm-hmm. That's basically what they're doing here. They're outsourcing the underlying technology that needs to be used, but they're going to shape it. They're going to prompt it. They're going to do all the things that they want to do inside of it to make that be their own thing, which, despite what OpenAI has come out and said, oh yeah, well, we didn't want to, we bowed out of being Apple's partner. I don't really think that was ever a serious conversation.
Right.
And the reason I don't think that was ever a serious conversation is because if you look at the landscape of people who are running companies or have products that are, I would say, frontline top tier AI, you got basically 4 companies. You got Google, you got OpenAI, you got Anthropic with Claude, and okay, wait a minute, I said 4. I don't know where the 4th one is.
Are you counting DeepSeek?
No, because that's the open source model that Apple wouldn't use because it's based out of China, and also it's not as
advanced, or
it's not as advanced as what the other 3 companies are doing. When I'm saying like frontline top tier, I mean like there's tons of money behind these companies and they can buy whatever NVIDIA chip they want to buy if they want to buy an NVIDIA chip, like that level company. There's 3, maybe 4. I think, no, because Copilot right now still is very heavily based on OpenAI's tech. But that is a perfect example of what I mean about what Apple is doing with Google, though, right? Like, not everything that you see in Copilot is based on, is directly just GPT is in your Word document now. No, it's Copilot is in your Word document because Microsoft has put the OpenAI software on their servers, and then they have framed it and customized it and shaped it to be what they want it to be. Meta is the other company I was kind of sort of thinking of because they're there at least, like they have the money to spend in this space. But out of those 4 companies, I think that could support doing this type of thing, really only Google is the only one that's positioned to do it, because Google at its core is a technology company. Google at its core is an ad company at this point, but they have great technology, right? Mm-hmm. They have servers, they have their own infrastructure. They can build what Apple needed. OpenAI can't do that. Like they don't have the engineering to do it. I'm not saying their software couldn't do it. I don't think they have the engineering to be able to do what Apple needed done. Anthropic, I think, still is too small, scale wise, to be able to also take away from what they're doing. Cause they're seriously trying to beat OpenAI at this point. I don't think anybody's trying to beat Google just simply because you're not going to beat Google in the short term. There's no way. They got money and you don't really have money. You have play money. You have fake money.
Right.
You got monopoly money. Because you're not making any. That's the problem, right? You're not making any money. And when you're running a business that burns as much as AI does, and you're not actually generating income somewhere else, to me, it's fake money. Because at any given moment, Peter Thiel or whomever, any venture capitalist could say, okay, we're done.
Yeah.
And you get no more funding. And then guess what? Your company closes up and everybody's Ferraris get repoed. I just would like to put it out there. If anybody repos Ferraris when this does happen, get in touch. If you want to let one fall off a truck somewhere, you don't have to fall off the truck near me. Just tell me where it fell off at. All right. I appreciate it. Then me and Michael going to Mexico.
It's like we've lived through this a little bit before.
Wait, hold on. We never had a Ferrari fall off a truck, dude. What are you talking about? And if we did, we would never mention such a thing on the show as if it actually happened.
I don't know what you're talking about. I was just saying the early 2000s.
Okay, I got you. No, that's the thing though, right? Like there's this huge. The only thing that's different here, I think, from the internet bubble, the .com bubble bursting, and if you're younger than Mike, then really go ask your parents. But the only thing that I feel that is different here is that there are companies positioned here, Google being one of them. Amazon, honestly, people don't talk about Amazon, other than some comments from people that work inside of AWS that said, it's AI basics. It's not like Amazon basics. It's Amazon basics AI. The only difference, but Amazon too, I think, and their model just isn't, whatever model they have going on in there just isn't up to snuff for what Apple will want to do. They also have the ability, I think, to do what Google is doing. They just don't have the actual, LLM chops there to be what Apple wanted them to be. But Amazon is positioned well in this because, again, they have money. So does Google. So does Microsoft. The difference I feel like with the .com, and I could just, be old and not remembering a whole lot. I don't think we had as many companies that had as much runway as, say, a Google or a Meta or even a Microsoft have in this time of overwhelming AI promises.
Right. So
that are going to weather the storm, right?
Yeah.
Where, that we had a lot of companies that rose out of the .com bust because they just survived it and they had an actual product and they had a plan. But I don't think we had people that was like, oh, even if there's a bubble that bursts, like whatever money we invested in data centers, et cetera, well, stuff is still moving to the cloud. So we're going to need those data centers. And Microsoft is cool because they're buying data centers. And so they'll be okay.
I've been playing with Amazon's Q agent, which is weird. It answered my questions for me, but that is now a thing in AWS console. So
yeah, I had beta access to that like a year and a half ago or something.
It answered my questions, and then one of these days, I'm not going to try changing multiple things at once. So then I had to go down a rabbit hole of going through my NVDA settings to figure out where to go to stop telling me regions and landmarks. I assumed it was in the browse settings, but apparently it is not. It is in the document format settings. But I couldn't find the close button because it kept telling me which region I was entering. And so that took me like 20 minutes to find the close button, but it answered the questions quickly.
Yeah, that was actually Amazon's Q was the first. I didn't need it for what I was doing, so I ended up not using it quite as much at the time. But it was one of the first examples of like, here's a small model that is trained on a specific knowledge area, and that's all. Like I didn't try it back then either because this was actually kind of maybe right at the beginning of ChatGPT taking off. So I didn't ask it any, goofy question because I also wasn't using ChatGPT. So I had, no idea what people were actually doing with it. It's just like, oh, this thing is amazing. It's like, yeah, what are you doing with it? It was even before you were telling me I should try ChatGPT. So I didn't ask it like, how do I build a, NVDA plugin or add-on or something like that. I didn't ask anything outside of its bounds of knowledge that it should absolutely know based off the way they promote it to you inside of AWS. But for me, and I guess this is maybe why that stuck with me for so long, like why I still am kind of stuck to that. They're going to be, I think, the ultimate goal or the ultimate endpoint for LLMs for sure is going to be models that are trained on very specific knowledge areas. And they're going to be great at that. There'll be less false answers. There'll be less hallucinations because it is a very narrow range of expertise that it needs to have. It's kind of like the difference in people. Not that I'm saying that the LLMs are anywhere near people level thinking or ability, but it's sort of like people, right? Everybody's you've heard that phrase, right? Jack of all trades, but master of none.
Yeah.
That's generally what most of the LLMs are, is like they want them to be able to answer all questions that anybody may ask them, which means kind of you don't really know much of shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you start making up stuff because you have a vast wealth of knowledge. And I'm not gonna say everybody knows people like this. Some people may think I'm that person. I don't know anybody that I know for sure thinks I'm that person, but somebody may think I'm that person. But it's like, you got a person that they have a overwhelming amount of knowledge in their head, data in their head about different things. So when you, and they have a need, a desire or a need or something flawed with them that they can't be wrong or they can't say, I don't know. So you ask them a question and they will string together a whole bunch of words to sound like it makes sense if you have no idea what they're talking about. I asked them how to edit audio and how is audio editing or how do I get started audio editing? And I guarantee there are people that know nothing about the subject or know absolutely less than I know that could string together a bunch of words that if I was a person that had never touched the audio track to try to edit it, I'm like, oh, okay. And I would go off with the information they gave me thinking I had a pathway into learning how to start me a podcast.
Yeah.
Mike will pop in and be like, what the hell are you talking about? None of that even makes sense. And what does the polarity of the moon have to do with anything?
F7 does not change that.
Yeah, that's not even a recognized key in Reaper. Like, what are you talking about? But that's why I think we are with that. So, but not Rufus. That's the stupid Amazon.
That's the
.com
shopping
bot that keeps wanting to jump in my way. Q is the AWS bot. That I should. Now, has it gotten to the point? Because this is where I actually at the time. Because inside of my account, I had like beta, and they probably gave it to everybody. I'm not saying that like I was, specially selected to be on the Q testing team. I think just if you were in AWS, they were like, hey, would you like to try this out? It'll be free during the time that we're beta. Like, hell yeah, it's free.
Yeah. Amazon giving more stuff for free, sure.
Has it gotten to an agentic mode now where you can have it go do things for you?
Not that I seen, but I also didn't tell it to go do things. When I asked it a question, I asked it to show me how to change the region of my SES domain name that I was working in, and it told me that I couldn't, but I could change the region I was working in and told me where it was, and then that I could add a new domain in that region because I wanted everything to be in Oregon. But while it was looking that information up, it told me on the screen, getting information about your environment, I think it said. So I don't know if it could have went and did things for me, but it appeared that it was doing research or getting information about what I was working on.
Yeah, that's I actually hadn't thought about that until now, but that would be an amazing, like it's super useful. Again, I think it's just trained on AWS stuff, which I'm going to be honest, like that is an amazing accomplishment. People are going to look at Claude and Gemini and VO3 with the video stuff, all this. I'm going to tell you what's amazing. You have anything, any entity, whether it is a computer model, a individual, a person that understands everything in AWS, man, listen, they should get an award. Like, I'm sorry, maybe they shouldn't pick on Amazon and call it AI basics. Cause that's an amazing feat right there just by itself.
Yep. as long as it's up to date, because we know we can Google stuff.
Well, it should. This is what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
the queue inside of AWS should always be up to date, because if they change something, they also, now I will give them this, even though sometimes it's difficult and it's very nested, like they over nest their documentation. And sometimes it looks like they just strung together a bunch of words to explain what this thing does, because they don't know, they just made it. But Q should have that data, because when they do make changes, they do update the documentation. Now it's, questionable as to how helpful the documentation may be to you as a non-creator of the thing that this person is now trying to explain to you and why you should use it. But I often feel like there are people at AWS who's like, yeah, I don't know why that exists. Or why would I use this when you have that? Like, that seems to encompass all the things that those 4 different services do over there. Well, I don't know.
The big thing about this whole thing is it's taking teaching to a whole nother level, because now you, as the student, asking questions are able to ask questions about the documentation, as you were saying, where you might ask a support person, they're like, I don't know, let me do some research, or go ask someone else who might know. And this is just one place to go to ask your questions. It tells you something, you go do it, something doesn't work the way you expect it to, you still have that other window open where you can say, well, this is what I'm observing, now what do I do? And hopefully those are less than just using a generic AI. And I think they would be.
Yeah, I think with Q specifically, because I do remember saying it was coached, but I think a lot of stuff could be like that, right? Because there's nothing worse. I'm sorry, there's nothing worse. And this is why I don't mind the deployment of a chatbot, although I think AI search is a little better. Like, if it's actively searching for stuff, like, I don't mind that as much if it's not annoying and I can use it when I choose to use it, not just every time I come to your website, it pops up and says, hey, would you like to chat? And it's like, no, I don't even know what you do yet. Like, I'm just here. I just walked in the door. Like, no, I don't want to talk to you. I'm looking for a seat. Can I get a seat, please, before you start trying to talk to me? But I think that is useful, because there's nothing more frustrating than actually getting on the phone, especially getting on the phone, but even in the email conversation, where it's obvious this person has just went and read the same thing that you already read, and then comes back and tells you a thing. You're like, yeah, but that doesn't work. This is what I told you when I started this conversation. Is I looked at this. This is what it's supposed to do, but it does not work. So how do I get around this?
Or what am I missing? Or yeah. It's annoying. Especially when you map all that out.
It's like, were you listening to what I said? Oh man, I had that experience today. Speaking of LLMs, I don't know if Walmart is doing this, but Sam's Club, which is owned by Walmart, has a thing when you call their 800 number because you need to speak to customer service, because obviously you can't handle your business that had, you can't handle the problem you have with the delivery of a product from your store locally with the store locally that the product was delivered from. You can't do that. You got to call the 800 number and talk to some people in the Philippines. Like, that makes a lot of sense. Nothing against people in the Philippines. I'm just saying that doesn't make any sense to me. Why are we going around the world for this conversation? But before you can even get to talk to the person that's possibly in the Philippines, you are talking to an AI bot, and it comes on, and it's really funny because it's like, this is Walmart's new AI assistant that can answer questions in real time. That can handle something like that can answer questions in real time and provide assistance in many cases, but it may be wrong sometimes. Like, they throw that in. I was like, okay, so there's your disclaimer. There's your Chat GPT at the bottom disclaimer that you're used to seeing. But here's the annoying thing, right? There's no way. Well, there probably is a way. I'm just not I'm not smart enough to know the way, and I also didn't have time to go Google because I was really frustrated. So I wasn't even trying to go search it out to see if there actually was a way. But there's not a direct way. Back in the days where you would get the little automated system and it wanted to yak at you, and before you could talk to it and it talked to you, it just would read out a tree. And it would ask you, well, if you have this problem, press this key. Well, you knew to press 0 and it would just bypass all that, take you to a person, right? Even when the system started wanting to have you speak to them versus pressing buttons, And it will ask you, well, is it just an account question? Is it a transaction history? You just say agent and okay, you bypass all. No, there's no way to do that anymore. So you have to go through this whole thing. And I explained to the freaking bot, like, okay, here's the deal. You cannot help me with this issue because here is the problem. It shows it was delivered. It was not delivered to my house. It is not at my neighbor's house. It is not across the street. It is not behind my house in some bushes. I need to speak to an agent. Okay, let me get your order number. Okay, let me verify your account. Oh, this does show that it was delivered. I have to go through this whole litany of things I'm going to have to turn around and do again when I get on the phone with the person, right? That's what really irritates me is like, it's the bottleneck, like you're wasting my time. And then when I get to the person, I'm going to have to explain all of this again.
So did you did actually have to explain it to the person that you finally got to?
Yes.
Okay. Because I was hopeful that Walmart
somebody was intelligent and built a system. So when I was talking to it, they got a transcript of my conversation before they actually connected to me to start talking to me. Yeah, that would be a logical thing to do. Like that would be a logical thing to do. Yeah. Now, in the defense of whomever built this system for Walmart and Sam's Club, I don't know that that's not a feature on their end, but I can guarantee you if it is, they didn't read it. Neither did the supervisor read any notes about anything that I needed when I got escalated over to them and had to sit on hold and wait. And I was like, listen, can I just, because it's like, okay, how can I help you? I was like, okay, so you have no idea what's going on? Okay, listen, can I just get around some of this if I just give you the case number that I was given so you can go look at this and I ain't got to say it for the 15th time today?
And like, at that point, you know all of those calls are recorded. They're probably transcribed somewhere. The supervisor could have had a summary as you were being transferred because they're going to make you hold for the supervisor.
But I was on the hold for so long, you could have had a conversation with the person that talked to me, read the notes that they have written, read the transcript of our conversation, heard me curse out your bot. Not really, but kind of. And then got on the phone with me and said, okay, sir, I've started processing your refund. Yeah. Like that's how that conversation should have started is I have processed your refund to go back to your original form of payment. However, in this particular instance, the tip that you provided for the delivery driver cannot be refunded directly to your card. So I'm going to solve that by giving you a $20 gift card. That's how the conversation should have started. Right. Not with, thank you for calling Sam's Club. I'm showing someone I am a supervisor. How can I help you? Oh man. I'm supposed to be, mind you, I got work to do. Like, what? I don't got time to be on the phone with you with this nonsense, man. Listen, it should never be a situation. This is a fact. This is a fact to me that exists. Unless you are doing some of the types of things that me and Michael both have done for AT guys, and even then it's a temporary thing. There's no way that I should be calling there's no way anybody should be calling a company and your average person, especially with the gaps in my memory, because I don't retain things that I don't think are important. Sometimes I do forget important stuff. I'm going to admit that. But generally, I don't try to retain stuff that I don't feel that is necessary for me to hold on to. There's no reason by the time I talk to the third or fourth person, I know the order number by heart. I can tell it to you right now. You want me to tell it to you? Shit, it was 1039-0490-005. I should not remember that, but I had to read it so many times today that I know that order number. To me, that is a terrible customer service experience.
And that goes, like, I don't know what company sold Walmart this, but what we just talked about in the last 5 minutes is what their system should be doing. And I think Microsoft, Amazon, Apple to an extent, and OpenAI are positioned to be, as you were saying earlier, the underlying technology to give that AI experience to the customer service agents. And the company that made that software is probably not going to be around for very long. Now, I'm going to be embarrassed if that is OpenAI that made that software, and we may never know that. I'm not sure they're going to be around all that long. Yeah. But you can call OpenAI and have a full-on conversation with it, and that's really where things should be. Yeah.
But and again, like fair being fair, again, I feel as a person that does customer service all the time, every day, because every business is a customer service business. I don't know if people have told you this before, but every business is a customer service business, even when you think it's not. But as a person who has had to deal with customers' orders, somebody's stuff didn't show up, or they couldn't find it, or it was broken, or they didn't like it, whatever the case, just dealing with random customer service from the nicest person who calls and says, "Hey, I'm really sorry to bother you, but I don't know this part of this, or I'm not sure if this works," to the person who is supremely angry at you for a bad decision that they made about a thing, because they had all the information they needed before they spent their money. And, I don't know what the problem is, but anyway, we've all had those. Me and Mike can tell you all about it, but we won't, because that would be revealing, well, not necessarily revealing people's information, but we've done it before. Go listen to the DM series. There's a little bit of that in there.
Or search Reddit and customer service stories, and then you'll be good.
See, there's probably some real good stuff there, because some of the stuff I've heard other people have to deal with is like, I ain't see, listen. Me and JJ will have to have a talk at that point, because I'm like, I just hung up on him. I'm signing this ticket to you, dude, because I just hung up on him. Nobody talks to me that way. Nobody talks to me that way. But as a person that's had to deal with that, the job that you have when it comes to customer service is not to be pushed over or stepped on or anything like that. I don't buy into that aspect of it. Like, oh, the customer's always right. I'm going to say this because people always forget this with that quote. The actual thing that was said is the customer's always right, except when they're not.
Yeah, except when they're not. Often gets left out.
Yeah, and that may not be exactly the wording, like that might not be verbatim what was said, but that was actually the point of the statement. Like, the customer's always right, except when they're not. And what that means to me is, if a customer calls me up and says, we're going to use AT guys as an example here. We're not giving away any secrets or anything, but the customer calls up and says, your web page is confusing to me, and I'm not really sure what the features of this product are, or what the difference in this power bank versus that power bank is. The customer's right in that system, in that situation.
Yep.
Why? Because the customer wants information, and they cannot clearly, for their capabilities. I can sit here and tell you all day, I don't see what the problem is, but that ain't helping the customer. The customer's right in that aspect. The exact same customer buys a power bank and then calls back and says, well, I don't think this thing is accessible at all, because how am I, as a blind person who is so blind that I can't even see the dark, be able to use this power bank? I thought it was going to do something. Okay, now the customer is wrong, because one, we didn't promise you the product was going to do anything beyond what it said it was going to do. And we explained clearly, either on the phone call discussing the product with you, or on the product page itself, what makes the power bank accessible. In that instant, the customer's wrong. I'm not going to tell you get it. I mean, I'll give you a refund, because we try to do decent business, and I don't want to keep dealing with you being angry, right? I mean, ain't that bad, but
I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah. I don't have to tell you that you're wrong. But in the grand scheme of things, like, the customer at that point is wrong, because we haven't sold you something falsely. We haven't given you false information. And we didn't come up with these outrageous expectations that you, for some reason, had, that the thing was gonna, on its own, tell you when you needed to charge your phone. That's completely on the other side of the room. Like, I don't even think that technology exists at this point, but that's what you thought was gonna happen for some reason. Don't know where you got that from, but you're wrong. That's that type of scenario. With this system, like, I agree that the system should work in the way that, in my mind, it should work. First of all, if I call up, and this does happen with some businesses, you call up and your number's registered in their system. Now, there's one part of me that's like, I don't really like that. But at the same time, like, I gave you my phone number, like, it's tied to my account that I have with you. It would be different if I called up the local, I don't know, Dollar General, that I don't have really any sort of relationship with at all, except, occasionally dumping trash in their dumpster, but don't tell them I did it. And I called up their number, and they were like, "Hi, Damashe.
Yeah.
We have specials going today." And it's like, well, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah. I don't think we're that far off, but
no, we are very far off from that, because I ain't having it. They ain't got my phone number. I don't even look, I'll use somebody else's phone. I'm not opposed. Look, I want my discounts, but I'm not giving you my phone number.
But what I'm saying is, what's stopping Dollar General from buying your phone number from someone else? and then tying that to you as an individual. And that's why I'm saying I don't think we're that far off.
This is
that.
absolutely true. I think the only reason they don't do that is because for a lot of companies, the overhead of that is a little too expensive at this point. We're probably are going to get there a whole lot quicker than people are going to be comfortable with. Now that you say that, because LLMs will make that process a little easier. I think the faster they get, or again, stripping them down to where this is a customer service bot and it does very specific things. And you have orchestrated LLMs where this bot over here is talking to the customer when they call, but this bot in the background is scraping the number and getting the data on the person before the bot answers the phone and passing that over. Like, yeah, I think we're going to get there. I'll give it the next 3 to 5 years before we really see a system like that. And then I'm probably going to take my,
Retirement?
my flip phone, and I'm out. Like, I'm out. I'm moving to the woods. I'll figure out how to build me a satellite and launch my own satellite internet that nobody knows about. Yeah, I'm out at that point. Like, I'm done. Everything will be solar powered.
So going back to what we opened this discussion with, partially, because I don't even remember how we got here, but
because we was talking about AI.
Yeah, Apple.
That's how you
Siri.
get anywhere, Mike. You didn't know this.
Just talk about AI a little bit, and then
you end up wherever you're at when you figure out, like, wait, how did I get here? Because you started with AI.
Apple, Gemini, and Siri. I'm excited because there was rumors last year that iOS 26.4 is when people were going to be able to start observing behaviors of what's supposed to be the new upgraded Siri. And then this announcement just happens to come out, a week or two ago. I think we expect betas of 26.4, probably March, April. So the timing just makes me a little bit more excited that maybe something in the, oh, wow, I knew Siri could do that realm might be closer than some of us anticipate. Kind of like the Siri that Apple mentioned 2.5 years ago, 2 years ago.
almost 2. This WWDC 26 will be 2 years since they announced that. It was 24 that they came out with all that outrageous stuff. I mean, honestly, I'm going to say this. A lot of the features, I was like, yeah, I don't want that. Like, I'm not ever going to use that. So you kind of wasted engineering time. To wrap that all the way back around to where we started at before we got down there, with the automated call systems, is the second reason I think that they are behind on this. You see how complicated AI is? That's why they're behind. But the second reason I think we have not seen this home device, whatever they may call it, with a screen
I forgot about that.
as of yet, is I think they have gone through, and maybe at this point now they have, settled on what it's going to be. But I think another holdup for them was like, really, how do we build this, right? And I think they probably built several options that they kind of wanted to figure out what to do. Like, I can see there being an option that looks like the old, I think it was the iMac that had like the little arm on it or whatever. I could see somebody, especially, one of the older people at Apple, like, hey, it would be cool if we made it look like that thing. Right? Which I agree. I think it would have been cool if they made it look like that thing. I absolutely would have bought it. But I'm probably absolutely going to buy it anyway, just being fair about it. Unless it really is $500, then we're going to think about that. But I think there's been design issues, not necessarily issues, but like just decisions where they've kind of waffled, because technology has changed under them as they've been building this as well. Cause I think they've actually been working on this longer than Gurman has been talking about it being a product. I also think some of what Gurman got is like, oh, this is a thing we tried early on. And then, somebody had a Steve Jobs moment and said, that is the dumbest I ever heard of. No. And then so they moved on to the next idea. But I do think at this point, the hardware probably is locked. They're just waiting on the software. Because again, I think it would be foolhardy of them at this point to put out such a device without Siri being able to do a better job of, not only being more conversational and giving information, but also controlling your home, because that's what people are going to expect you to do. And I'm sorry, it's not acceptable when I tell Siri to, turn on my office heat, and you tell me 3 times, I can't find that. What do you mean you can't find it?
Yes.
Or
Amen.
turn on this thing. I'm sorry, it's having trouble responding. Meanwhile, the thing is turning on. What do you mean it's having, like, I'm confused. Do you know what's going on in my house?
I have that issue with Levelbolt. I will walk up to the door, and sometimes we have to hit the unlock button like 2 times, and every once in a while it'll say not online or unavailable or something like that. I'm like, what do you mean I can't? There's been a time or two where I actually jumped the fence to go in the back door because, like, I just want in my house.
Yeah, that is not an experience you want to have
No.
at all. No. And I feel like a lot of that is well, I'll tell you what you should do to solve that problem. Like, you should go out and you should get the Aqara U300, I think it is.
Is that the lock that they announced?
That is the new deadbolt that they've announced that has Matter and Thread and UWB. So you with your fancy phone or your fancy watch, it'll know whether you're in the house or out of the house and unlock the door appropriately.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I should do. And it's only, I think, $270 if I remember right. Only. You know,
that's actually not bad considering what the level
lock
costs.
I know. That's why I'm like, maybe.
That's a lot of tech in there.
Yeah, it is. Or my light bulbs in the garage, they've just stopped responding like 2 months ago.
So that could just be a thing with the if your garage lights are like my garage lights like that. There are certain things you have to do to make that consistently continue to work, and I don't remember what those things are because I have forgotten. But
I've got 3 HomePods, 2 Apple TVs.
No, it's not a device thing. It's the way sometimes the circuitry, depending on what light. Like for me, my light in my garage does not respond because it's actually the bulb that's tied to when the door comes up and goes down. So sometimes it's legitimately not getting any power to it because the door isn't moving. So there's some weird circuitry about how that hooks up that makes mine not work. Now, if you have those additional lights in your garage to make your garage, because it was designed at a reasonable time in life where people thought you may actually want to work in your garage and you probably need to see stuff, then I don't know. It might just be
like the lights are on. Ben will go in and turn the lights off because my phone won't let me turn them off. So they're getting power.
Oh, well, no, that's just some weird stuff. Yeah, that happens with a lot of my lights too, though, where like they will not respond, and it's like I need to buy buttons. The only hub, well, I don't have any hubs now because I broke that M3 Aqara hub, and I have not plugged up the new one because I did buy a replacement. Like it was.
Do you think that helps with the connection, or you're not sure because your device is required?
I think. So here's where it should help and where it won't help. If everything that you're using is Thread, like the M3 hub, and one of the reasons I bought the M3 specifically, because I bought this hub because I have door sensors and window sensors that are Aqara. And really, in order for them to be useful, you got to have the hub so that they got something to talk to because they don't really have Wi-Fi in them. They need to be able to talk to the hub to do their thing. But it also has Thread. So if my light bulbs have Thread and they're, everything that's spread around your house that has Thread is actually strengthening your network. Think about it like the mesh that Eero, popularized so much and made more consumer friendly, except it's not Wi-Fi. It's a different protocol, but similar kind of technology, right? Every device you add to your network that has Thread makes it stronger and you can spread those out so things will get better connections. That's the beauty of Thread and why Thread is important. Matter is important because it means you're talking to each other over IP address. So it doesn't matter, if you're a Hue bulb or a Topo from TP-Link or, I can't think of another Philips. No, that's Hue. Never mind.
That's Hue. But
the point. That makes the conversation easier. Hubs come in a lot of times for some of these devices because they have their proprietary technology that will connect this device back to the hub, and then the hub bridges that into your network and your home setup, whether it's Apple or Google or Amazon or Smart Things, which still is holding on for some reason.
It is.
Well, I don't know. I guess if people keep buying these freaking washer dryer combo things like you, then
it'll stay around.
They got a reason to stay around, and people buy fridges with screens on them, which I told you people, you're going to put ads on your fridge. People thought I was trying to be funny. I mean, it was funny, but it was funny, ironic, because they're really going to do it.
Right. Now I'm going to start getting ads on my washer.
Look, that's coming next.
Yeah.
Did you know that Tide
And it's got that sensor technology, so it knows as you're walking by.
You're going to be putting stuff in, and you're like, damn it, I spilled it. Did you know that Tide powder uses 2/3 less than the brand that you're using, because it's going to recognize what it. Did I ever send you this book?
Yes.
Did you ever read this story? Okay.
Yes.
So, yeah, it's going to be like that. Unauthorized bread. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up for Corey Doctorow's book. I forget the name. Just search for Corey Unauthorized Bread and you'll find the book. Very inexpensive ebook. You may even be giving away free. I know that story came free at some point. But not even giving away the story. Like, essentially you're in a scenario where if you didn't buy a specific brand of bread and you tried to put it in your toaster would tell you that you could not toast that bread because it was not authorized by the company. The story gets much deeper than that, but that is just a thing that just sticks out to me that I'm waiting to happen at some point.
It's coming.
It's like, this is unauthorized dish detergent. Laundry soap.
Is it radicalized?
Yes, that's it.
Yeah, by Cory Doctorow. Yeah.
See, Mike Googled.
Nope. I found the book that was sitting in my iCloud folder.
No. I was going to say, see, Mike Googled why do you follow my instructions and found it super quick. But never mind, he just found the book.
Yeah, just found the book.
But hubs are useful in certain situations. Usually, I still feel like at some point we should be able to get away from this, but I feel that it's so difficult when there are good protocols out because maybe they didn't start with these companies. Like Matter, I feel one of the only reasons Matter actually got off the ground and Thread got off the ground is because there were companies like Apple, Google, and Amazon cooperating on these technologies. There's a protocol that is used, and I don't think it's specific to this company. I don't even remember the company's name, so I can't even tell you. But they have extremely long range, long range communications, like for little things. So like you can put because most people, their mailbox is some distance from, their house and might not actually be on their Wi-Fi. But you can still use one of their sensors, put it in your mailbox, and it'll still be able to communicate back to its hub, and then that's hooked into your network, and then you can now get notifications that your mailbox is open. Or they make sensors to go into temperature sensors that are longer range and can get through a freezer's denseness a little better than just a regular Wi-Fi sensor. And again, I don't think that, and I'll find it for next week. Mike, somebody remind me. Send me an email. If you send an email to feedback@technicallyworking.show, showing like, man, hey, what about that long range thing? I can get a notification if somebody's screwing with my mailbox. Yeah. Cause I actually intend to buy some of these, so that's why I know I'll come back to them.
But send an email or we'll both forget, and then it'll be like a month down the road when someone else is like, hey, what happened to this? When
I buy it,
that
6 months from now, I'll be like, oh, well, look, I just hooked up these things. Those are the things I was.
I don't know if we talked about this on the show yet, but
I didn't tell anybody about these, but I've been using them for 3 months now. They're awesome, and let me tell you all about them. But no, they're using but the long range technology that they're using, right? Like again, you would need a hub to convert whatever that is back into Wi-Fi IP speech to be able to then have it, trigger things, right? That is a thing that has to happen. So you do need a hub. But imagine a world where this extreme low latency, extreme distance, radio protocol was built into, I don't know, let's say your Apple TV or your router or your Amazon Fire TV.
Or your Apple Home.
So or your home pod, cause the home, whatever the hell they're going to call that thing, don't exist yet. And who knows, maybe it never comes out. But you have that ability, right? And that means I could it means I wouldn't have to have several hubs. Like, oh, well, I got a car door sensor, so it means I need to get stupid a car hub if I actually want that to work. Now you don't need a car hub for this new lock that they have. You actually don't need a car hub for the lock that I have from a car now either, which is a retrofit lock. You don't need that either. You don't need their hub for that either. Because it just hooks in the HomeKit and you do your thing and it's all great. That's the beauty of Matter. What's really annoying me about the hubs, similarly with Hue, I think I mentioned on the show that I'm thinking about getting some Hue bulbs because they got cool stuff, but I got to buy a hub if I really want the cool stuff. which is the newer Hue lights. They do have some cheaper lights out, which is one reason I'm slightly interested in them now anyway, because Hue bulbs used to be expensive. Oh, good God. It was like $89 for one light bulb.
That's ridiculous.
They were up there, man. Like, they were seriously up there. That's why I'm like, I know people that have like a ton of Hue bulbs all over their house. I'm like, man, you getting money somewhere. I ain't know you getting it from. It's like, whoa. Listen, if you don't think it's over with, let me get in there. Cause the Hue bulbs are not cheap. But the newer Hue bulbs, they do have a cheaper line of them coming out that's out. And they're matter compliant, so you don't have to get a hub at all. Unless you want to use the feature. That really makes me excited because, hey, it minimizes the number of smart devices I got to buy, which is if you have the new Hub Pro, and I think some of their older light bulbs will also upgrade it to do some of this. But your light bulb with their hub can also become a presence sensor. So it'll know if people are in the room, and you can have just a simple thing set that if there's no presence detected in this room for 5 minutes, turn the light off. Or when you detect presence coming into a dark room, turn the light on to, if it's this time of day, turn it to this level. If it's, after dark, then turn it to like 30% or something. But that's super cool, and also means I don't have to stick a bunch of these little, motion detectors and all that crap all over my house, inside the house, to try to, facilitate such automations to happen, right? So that's exciting to me. That would make me go buy Hue bulbs and buy their hub, even though I'm annoyed that I have to buy a hub, because that's one more thing I got to plug in on my network. And yes, some of these things probably have Wi-Fi, but anybody that knows me, I don't believe in Wi-Fi. I can't believe my show is working on Wi-Fi right now. It's amazing.
Yeah, we haven't had any dropouts. By the way, did any listeners know that we switched over to Zoom? And did you remember to cancel Clean Feed?
I did not remember to cancel Clean Feed before they next billed me the next time, but it also got to me a whole lot sooner than I thought it was. So I actually didn't forget to do it. I just didn't do it before it renewed.
Gotcha.
But it's one of those things where from what you remember, like, oh, this renews around like the 15th or something. So I just paid for it. So like, I got a couple of weeks at least before I even got to start thinking about it for real. And it's like, oh, nope, it's the 7th of the month or whatever.
Yeah.
Bam. Like, oh, crap. Okay. Well, I guess I'm starting another podcast over here for a month.
You should go cancel it so you don't forget.
I canceled it.
Oh, okay.
Right after they billed me.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, nope, we ain't doing this again. Here's a tip I'm going to share with people. I've shared this tip before. I'm going to share it again because I did not do this. And as a result of me not following my own advice, I now have Final Cut for the iPad for a year. I did a trial of Final Cut on the iPad because I wanted to test out the things that Steven was talking about and see kind of how accessible the app was, and try the little iPhone, camera connect feature.
Yeah.
And it worked. It was accessible. I was like, okay, yeah, I could do this. I spent a little more time with it, and I'd definitely be ready to operate this at least in a functional way to accomplish the task. Might even get better at it if I, stuck with it. I'm like, all right, cool. But then I forgot to cancel it. Which my advice to people is, when you start a trial subscription through something in the App Store, anything that gives you the App Store particularly, because even if whether it's a 30-day trial, 2-week trial, 7-day trial, if you start the trial, you are agreeing to pay for it once the trial is over. But if you go cancel it immediately, they always give you to the end of the trial period before you lose access to whatever features you're paying for. Now, the rub is, if you decide you want to keep it, well, then you just go turn the subscription back on. But if you're like me and you played with the thing early and it was a 2-week trial and you forgot about it because you're like, oh, I should probably have Tia look at this, or let me let my son take a look at it and see if he can figure out Final Cut. He might want to start editing videos or something, I don't know. And then you never get to that thing, and then you just completely forget Final Cut on the iPad is even a thing that exists in the world at all, until you get an email from Apple that says, hey, thank you for renewing your subscription. What? Oh my God, $50. Now, here's the fair thing about it. one, I didn't follow my own advice, so yeah, you get what you get. But two, my kids are watching YouTube, and they want to make YouTube videos now. So first, you got to understand how to record a video and then edit it so you can post it, because nobody just records stuff and then throws it straight on YouTube. Yes, I know that's not factually 100% true, but I am not going to let my kids be that kind of person. You're going to edit your content and post it correctly until you have got enough hours in that you can one shot a thing and not have to edit. And listen, Marquez Brownlee still edits his shows. For somebody edits his shows.
And it's a skill to learn too. And
somebody
why not
edits
while they're
his
having
shows.
fun doing it?
Exactly. That's the other thing, right? Because here's Final Cut that I paid for, so you got it for a year. So
All right, now, here's the true question. On the 28th, are you going to get them the new Apple Creator subscription?
hell no.
It's only $129 a year.
Nope. And here's why. I can't guarantee they're going to use it. The Final Cut is there because, I forgot to follow my own advice and just go cancel it. And frankly, I mean, they already got Final Cut for a year. So even if they get into it, like, it doesn't make sense it honestly is financially cheaper until Apple inevitably, I can't never say that word right, even though I like using it, until Apple decides to make the decision that we all see coming down the road, to go to either a new version number or a major feature release of these apps, and the Mac apps that you already own don't get those updates. And even then, I still probably wouldn't pay for it, because I have a license for all of the pro apps that they have on the iPad. I mean, on the Mac, including Pixelmator Pro. Cause I bought them a long time ago. I have Logic Pro. Actually, I got a education discount for the Pro apps bundle from Apple. So they gave me Logic Pro, Final Cut, Main Stage, Compressor, and whatever that other one is. I can never remember the name of.
I remember Main Stage.
About the cost of what Logic Pro costs by itself. So I own all of those apps. I don't have a reason to buy those. I don't need those. Nobody in my house is going to be using Logic on the iPad anytime soon, as far as I can tell. And if they do, then we'll reevaluate it at that point. Even if they use Final Cut, it's cheaper to pay the $50 a year than it is to pay the $129. If I want to pay for it annually, or pay the $5 a month for Final Cut versus the $13 a month for the Creator Bundle. And as much as it annoys me that they're doing it, I don't think I'll care enough about whatever features that they decide to pump into the iWork apps, Pages, Numbers, and Keynote, that I want to, use those either. So, I feel like paying for that bundle for me at this point would be a lot like paying for Apple One, where there's like a whole bunch of extra stuff that I get that I really don't care about. Except there's not much that they are offering in the bundle that I do care about that I don't already own.
Right. Gotcha.
But for people listening who have not yet heard about the Apple Creator Bundle, let me tell you what it is. So Apple's finally went and done a subscription. Now, to be fair, Logic Pro, Logic for iPad, and Final Cut for iPad came out as subscription apps, which led everybody to say, well, where's the bundle where you get all of the apps, the ones on the Mac and the iPad all together? Well, here it is. This will get you Logic Pro on the Mac. This will get you Final Cut on the Mac. This will get you Pixelmator Pro, which Apple acquired a couple of years ago. That's a photo editing app. This will get you Main Stage, which I don't ask me, go look it up, or ask Siri.
You're mean.
Compressor, which is an app that you use to compress your audio, and I think maybe even video files too, to a specific format or size. Cause if you're doing pro raw stuff, for example, like at some point you got to compress that down to a usable format that people can actually watch. And then there's one more app that's a part of the original Apple Pro Apps bundle that I never remember the name of. But anyway, you get that too. All those are on the Mac. You also get included in this bundle price Final Cut for iPad, Logic for iPad. They're bringing Pixelmator Pro to iPad, I believe. And then you will have access to some special features, including some assets that can be used inside of Pages, Numbers, and Keynote. And those features haven't really been completely acknowledged or explained as to what all of those are going to be. One feature that a lot of people are pissed about, though, is like you're going to get generative fill in numbers or something like that, which does sound cool, and I am annoyed about that. But, I'll just have Claude write me an app that'll do the thing, so screw them. I don't care. But anyway, this will cost you $12.99 a month or $129.99 a year, depending on how you choose to pay for your subscriptions. They do have an excellent price if you are a student or a teacher and you have an education discount. It is $2.99 a month or $29 a year.
Oh, wow.
Now, here's the rub, because everybody that thinks like me is like, well, look, my kids at school, when they got school email addresses, hell yeah, now that I'll give them $30 a year. They can have that. Hell yeah.
Right.
Yeah, but if you get the student discount or the education discount, it does not include family sharing. If you pay the $13 a month or the $130 a year, then that does include family sharing. So,
gotcha.
Yeah. Somebody actually sat down and counted some beans this time and actually thought about this, because there are several instances where this didn't quite apply like that. So, first off, screw you, Apple.
Can't you let us have one more, Apple? One more.
just one more time, man. Listen, it would have turned at $30 a year. It would have turned into one of those things to where, like, I sit down 10 years from now and be like, wait, why the hell have I been paying for this?
Yeah. What did I just pay $300 for over the last 10 years?
Ain't nobody using this at all. I can't even remember the last time I heard anything about a Final Cut or a video or something. Like, I don't know what's going on. Why am I paying? They don't even have iPads anymore. What am I paying for? Like, I switched to Linux 2 years ago. Why am I still paying for this?
I'm off the grid now.
But that is the Apple Creator Bundle for those who may be interested. And honestly, if you make money with any of those apps, like, it is worth it. If you use those apps for producing content at all, it's worth it. And the fact is, even if you own Logic on the Mac, for example, let's say that's an app that you use, or you use Logic and Final Cut. Yes, you own those for the Mac. You don't own those for the iPad. By the time you pay for both of those on the iPad, if you find them useful, you may as well just get the Creator Bundle. So, depending on your circumstances, do the math. I know math can be hard sometimes. Ask Claude. It's a little better right now.
Don't ask ChatGPT. I asked ChatGPT voice mode, what time is it? It's 4:36 p.m. I'm like, no, it's not. It's not even 10 o'clock. Oh, you're right. It's 8:52 a.m. I'm like, it is not even, like, where?
Why do we have to have this back and forth about the time? That's a very simple thing for you to check. Like,
it was 9:15.
Really, that is one of those things that, like, I would be seriously upset if Siri ever got that wrong.
I even told it where I was. I said in Oregon. Like, yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant Oregon in this alternate dimension that I've been living in and thinking about for the past 2 hours. I'm sorry. You meant in the 2026 version of the United States of America where Donald Trump is your president. Oh, it's 9:15 there. So Mike is working on SES.
Yeah. 60 minutes in. I am working on setting up SES because I came to a realization that I need to just go through this process and get it set up. I didn't realize, like, I knew that for 12 months you can get 3,000 emails per month for free. If you've never had an AWS account. I also knew that there is credits available for nonprofits that you can take advantage of as well. Search it up because I don't have all those details.
Yeah, with the TechSoup, I think.
Yeah, I would think you are correct. What I did not realize is, and I made the mistake of doing some math and asked an AI, I thought it was 10 cents an email. So I'm like, well, why the hell would people switch to that? That doesn't make sense. Come to find out, it's 10 cents for 1,000 emails. So you can send 10,000 emails a month for $1. And I'm like, why am I paying this service this money just to send emails on a WordPress site? So earlier today, I finally just said, you know what, I'm going to go set this up on my own domain. I'm using Cloudflare. That's why I was looking at DNS entries at the beginning. I'm using Cloudflare. I can go get it set up, get it configured, go through that process on my own, and then I can move some other client domains to using SES instead of this unnamed service I'm not going to mention that I know I'm paying at least $2 or $3 $9 a month with, because I sign up for a trial to get their email to work, and it works well. But why am I paying $9? They're sending like 150 emails. It's going to be like a fraction of a penny for each domain name. Anyways, that's what took me down that path. And I was going to ask you, because I texted you and said, hey, let's talk about SES. But they literally give you, if you actually take the time and read what you need to read, they tell you everything to do. And what you don't know now, you can grab and say, hey, I'm at this step. What do I need to do? And you send it over. Now, I sent you and Jeff an article. I don't know if you looked at it or not, but they're having you put together JSON files to set up your permissions. And so I have used some AI to kind of learn more about that, because I
did not get an email from you at all.
You didn't? To your Bedrock
email? You sent an email? No, I didn't see it.
Oh.
Hold on.
Maybe your Bedrock email is broken. It is not in your VIP. Because I did not send it from the email that you have on VIP.
Okay. Okay, no, I see it now. I do see your email. When I first started with AWS, there was actually there was a wizard. I don't know if that wizard still exists. Okay, it does still exist.
Yep, I've found some of that. It's actually kind of cool, because when you log into SES, really the biggest thing is orientating yourself to Amazon's console, and once you do that, then it's a lot easier to navigate things, I think.
Search can also be your friend.
Yes.
I will go to it like a lot of times because I know where I'm going. So it's like, search and then, Aurora, and then I get to Aurora DB or
SES, and you get there. SES, I did not realize that once you get to a service, that's when you pick your region. Now, what I have learned about SES is that...
No, hold on. The way you just said that is not actually the way you really should think about that. Pick your region when you log in that you want to work out of. And then it'll whatever service you choose after that, you're going to stay in that region.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. I was going to say, I have learned that you want to put all of your services in the same region for the most part. So I was going to ask you if I had to pick my region every time I switch services. So it does not. It'll stay.
No.
Okay, good.
No. Yeah, so log in, and generally it's going to put you back in the region that you started in. I mean, that you were last in. But always check. But no, if you switch regions, it's going to keep you in that region, because what you'll know, the only time that it is going to force switch you back to a different region from the one that you may be in is if you go to the IAM center or whatever they renamed it to this week. Yep. They keep changing the name of it.
IAM manager is what it is.
But that will always, I think, default to US East, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but for my account, even if I was working in the US West Oregon region, if I wanted to go add users or do anything in that space, I would be back in the US East for that particular feature. But I think that feature is for some reason kind of hard coded in a way that I never bothered to try to figure out, because it didn't affect whether or not a person from Oregon could log in or that person from Oregon could log in and switch to the Oregon or North California region. It just, for some reason, I think that aspect of the interface is tied to that region. And that may have changed since I last, because I also haven't paid attention to it the last few times I've used it.
Right.
But I do remember that being a thing. But no, you log in and let's say you check and it's like, oh, you're in the Ohio East region for some reason. Because
that's where I started.
Yeah, they want to shove people over there now because they have figured out that a lot of times when you're starting out, you're kind of figuring stuff out. And you don't need to figure stuff out in the busiest data center that they got running, which is Virginia.
Right. Right.
So that actually makes sense. I give Amazon, despite the fact last time I checked, they had 163 different services that were up on their AWS. That I don't give them credit for. But I do give them credit from the time I started using AWS 10 years ago. Because I started just wanting to use an S3 bucket.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's right. I first learned about AWS S3 buckets.
It's like S3.
Then I started learning about EC2s, and that's as far as I got.
And then now, it's funny because, I would say probably about 5 years into it, it's like, man, I'm going to do anything I can not to use S3 buckets. Like, no, this Wasabi is actually working out pretty good. Okay, cool. But when I started with them, and buckets were a major problem. They still are problems, but not as much as they used to be. But I will give Amazon credit across the board for really having stepped up their in your face, hey, the thing you need to do right now for your security is this, or the decision that you're making, the options you have chosen right now have these security problems. Are you sure you really want to do this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, are you really, really sure you want to do this? Because this is what this could potentially lead you to. Amazon, will you leave me the hell alone? I just want the bucket to be public so people can read the files. Go away. Yeah. I know what I'm doing. But I say that because I've been doing it for a while, and I actually studied I didn't study them. I studied enough of the policies so that I could write one, and I kind of knew what to change depending on what, like for S3 bucket, for example. And it kind of makes sense once you understand one. You just have to know, how to label the actual feature that you're using or service that you're using. But I understood enough of one, and that's actually one of the documents that lived for a long time in my TextMate. That was just traveled across computers. It was one of my 22 documents that was always open, was a JSON file with the setup for a bucket. And depending on whether I wanted the bucket to be public or be private, or I just wanted one folder inside of the bucket to be, I could go tweak all of that, go paste it in, and go on about my day.
Yeah.
But I give them a whole lot of credit for really having made major leaps. Like when the industry started getting hacked and people's bucket data was open and exposed because they didn't secure their buckets, they really did make a hard reversal of starting to really shove you to being as private as possible or secure as possible, or continuously reminding you of steps that you had not taken. For example, setting up two-factor, or reminding you that you really shouldn't be working out of your root account. You really should make a secondary account for everyday usage and only log in as your root account when you really need to do stuff that only root can do. Like that sort of thing. I give them credit where I don't give a lot of companies credit when they are the root cause, or if not necessarily the root cause, but they're in a position to deal with a part of the root cause of an issue that customers are having with security or privacy. And they don't step up, such as several router vendors who, still for a long time kept shipping their routers with, default admin passwords that you could just Google, and get, because you had to reset your router because you forgot how to log into it because you didn't save it in one password when you thought you did. And then it's like, oh crap, I got to reset the whole router, because I need to make a change.
If I can Google this.
Well, no, it's not even if I can Google this. It's I knew better when I set it up, and I still do this for any device, change the password as soon as I get it set up. But everybody else doesn't think that, right? I knew I could go Google it because I knew it was out there, which got me into it from a default state. But, things change. We move along. Sometimes now you get people to say, oh, no, you must change this password instantly. Like you cannot continue until you change your password. So I give them credit for that. But the JSON is an interesting format. Like I've been dealing with a little bit more JSON because, a lot of stuff will output JSON, and you can, and you want to know something the AI is really good at reading? It's JSON. So this is, so Mike's hooking up emails. Yeah. Here's the thing to know about SES. Well, a couple of things. First, let's get to that pricing thing. It's 10 cents per 1,000 emails. There's an entirely separate and different charge for attachments. Be aware of that.
I read that.
They're more expensive. I think it's 12 cents a gigabyte or something. I don't remember the exact numbers now, but they are separately billed. So, and I'm saying that more because I'm figuring you probably read that because you've been reading everything. But I'm saying that for people who are like, whoa, now again, this is generally for transactional email. You can build an email system that works for your own personal email inside of it, SES. The hardest part of that is figuring out what to do with inbound emails and how they get routed. That is going to be the challenge that you're going to have to solve. Just telling people that because, hey, don't think that you're like, I'm going to replace Google. Here's why SES is so cheap. You got to know how to go build a lot of stuff on top of that to make it work. A lot of services out there exist that are probably under the hood using SES themselves.
Yep.
What's the other one I used to use a lot today?
Mailgun.
Bought Mailgun. Yeah. Like they're using those type of services under the hood with their API. So they charge you a little money to offset the cost of not just what it costs to send your emails, which is kind of negligible, but the development and support time that they have to put in. But SES is great. I like it. And they're very thorough about walking you through what to do. Like, you get your records, you add those appropriate records. I don't remember if they started doing this or if I read it in documentation at some point or something, or if it was somewhere else I saw it, but I'm going to give you this tip, and this is a tip for everybody. When you are dealing with, especially email, because you have to do all of this stuff, right? You got to do your SPF records, your DKIM, all of that stuff. Right? You got to go through and Yep, got to get all that stuff set up. Your SPF record is an important one. Technically, on a particular, and when I say domain in this instance, I mean the actual domain itself, not the whole zone file for the domain, right? So, and I'll explain that. Generally, with the A domain, you can only have 2 SPF records because other systems are not going to read beyond 2. Really, you can't count on that third one or more being read. But in this instance, we're talking specifically the domain that you're setting the SPF record for. So you can have 2 SPF records for yourownpay.com and 2 SPF records for media.yourownpay.com.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So even subdomains, you get 2 records for.
Yeah. Now, don't use 2 SPF records. That is basically, I think the reason the RFCs allow for that is because you occasionally will have people like me that have set up so much of this stuff. And like, I did this domain 10 years ago and I just added SES to this, and you just copy and paste and plop the record in, right? Well, now I have to. Generally what you want to do is just edit your original SPF record, and just add in the part that because what your SPF record is actually telling other email servers is this server or this IP address that is trying to send mail as my domain has the right to send mail as my domain. Gotcha. So you already have an SPF record because you have Google Workspace set up. Yep. So there's an SPF record right there. SES, you're going to add I would edit the SPF record that you already have that has SPF. I ain't gonna remember how it goes off the top of my head. SPF equals 1, include alt plus X with googlemail.com or whatever it says, tilde all on the end, right? Put a space in between the .com right there on Google.
Before the tilde, right?
Yep, before the tilde. Make sure there's a space between that tilde and the end of what you're about to paste in, but you're going to type in include, or really you can just copy and paste like what Amazon gives you. You just don't need the SPF part. You just need the includes amazon.ses.com or whatever it is. That's not right. ses.amazon.com, whatever they give you, right? Put that in. That just updates that same record. That way, 2 things. You're aware of that, so you'll do that. But if you're ever in one of those scenarios where you forget that thing, you haven't created a third record that doesn't get applied, and you're trying to figure out why email isn't sending, or you come in and you're working on somebody else's domain, knowing that you have that ability. Now, I have had a couple of records on domains before, and I end up combining them eventually when I had time. But sometimes you ain't got time to hunt out that one record because there's 147 records.
That's ridiculous.
And, well, you've got a lot of services, man.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the crap that Bluehost or HostGator shoves you your domain. Like,
I know.
Yeah. Like, geez. Auto config dot. Listen, we're not running a corporation over here with Outlook. Like,
just let me send an email.
Can I just set this up, please? Like, go away. But that's one of the more important things. Make sure you copy and paste your records right. Like, and they give you, I like because they give you nice buttons to just copy this stuff and then you just go paste it. So that's cool.
Does it matter which order they're in the SPF record? Do you know?
No, it doesn't.
Okay. As long as it ends with that tilde all.
Yeah, that's a different conversation for another day. So yeah.
Yeah. Go listen to Chit Chat Across the Pond a couple weeks ago, and I need to go re-listen to it again. It's one of those I listen to, I'm like, there's some great information in here. I need to go back and digest it. Yeah. That's how it goes with Bart, though.
Tilde all is a good starting point until you know what you're doing and you've, configured things exactly how you want them. Because what that's saying is like, be a little more lax if you get an email from a domain that's not listed here, but
don't block it necessarily.
Yeah, maybe file it to spam instead of just completely dropping it. It's kind of what that says to servers. So that does allow you to maybe fix something. But once you know you have your stuff locked in or you know exactly how you're doing, like me at this point, when I'm setting up a new SPF record or I'm editing records, I put -all because if it ain't listed here, it ain't supposed to be coming.
It's not for me. If it's not here, it's not for me.
If it's not listed here, then whatever sent it ain't authorized to send it. So just drop it. Ignore that like it didn't even happen.
Yep.
Black hole it, for lack of a better term. But yeah, SES is cool. Let's see. The other thing. Now, for me, what I will tend to do when I'm adding records is I will download the file because then I can just flip back and forth between windows to copy and paste or whatever. Versus now, I know with your fancy Edge on your Windows, you can Alt Tab in between actual windows that are in the thing, which is
you can do that too with Command Grave Accent.
Yeah, but see, that doesn't always work.
I know. Sometimes you get stuck in a weird place and you're like, where am I?
Yeah, and then you can't get back to where you was.
Yep.
No, I mean, literally, it's like you got, it treats it like it's two different applications in Windows sometimes, which is sometimes useful and sometimes annoying. It depends on whether you know that for one thing, and then two, whether you're like actually trying to do that or you're trying to get to something that's now 7 windows away because you've been browsing the web for a while. So
you can go fix that, but not worth it tonight.
I actually found it reasonable to do. Like it is helpful in some instances because it does keep my windows completely separate, unlike Safari, which sometimes wants to mirror windows that I was like, no, I really wanted that in a whole separate window, not a tab. Like what oh my God. I'm switching to Linux. That is my proclamation for the year. If I could only flash and run Linux on a MacBook, I would do it.
One of our listeners is using Linux.
Shout out to the Linux user.
Yeah.
Tell me when y'all can run it on ARM on my MacBook Pro, and then I'm probably interested.
Feedback at technicallyworking.show, or you can reach out to us on Mastodon.
Any other questions from Mike about SES at the moment?
Not yet. I will check in next week and let everyone know if I get everything all set up. So
use a subdomain MX record for your bounces. Otherwise, you're stepping on your MX record for your main email.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
No.
So I'm going to explain.
Really.
Okay,
Yes.
so I'll explain to you what. So on Google gave you 5 MX records to add.
Yes.
Right?
Yep.
Now, Google is excessive because they're Google. But those 5 records mean no matter what, if 3 of their servers are down, you should still get your email because all of those MX records are routed to Google at your bare domain, which is, we're going to say in this case, youronpay.com. I don't know which one you're using, but we're going to go with that. In SES, it is good practice for you to put like a bounce domain. What do they call it? And I'm calling it the wrong thing, so I do apologize for that. But it'll make sense when you see it, I think. And if it doesn't, I'll find it and get you the actual what they call it. But they want you to set up an MX record basically so that like bounce complaints can come back to them, have somewhere to go back to. You want to use a subdomain for that No, that's not it. It's the sending domain. That's what
The
it is.
sending. Okay, yeah,
Yeah.
I've seen that one.
Yeah.
By default, you can use Amazon sending domain, but there's a
Yeah.
checkbox you can check and then configure your own subdomain for that.
Yeah. So I would say for getting started, it's okay to use Amazon's.
Mhm.
The reason a person would choose to configure their own instead of using Amazon's is because in the header of your emails, it will, like somebody pops them out, or in certain mail clients, it will show like this was sent by, or this was sent on behalf of, Michael Babcock by Amazon SES
Right.
or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So that's why you would choose to do it. If you choose to set that up, use a subdomain, because they're going to give you an MX record that you're going to have to enter. And if you enter that, if you use your bare domain, I think they actually make you do a subdomain, if I'm not mistaken. But if they don't, use one, because otherwise you would be stepping on the MX records for Google. And at some point, if,
Right.
round robining MX servers and it tries to send one to that Amazon, then your email just gets black hole at that point, because Amazon's like, we don't have any idea what we're supposed to do with this, because you didn't tell us what to do with it when it came in, so we just dropped it. But if I'm thinking about it now, I think they actually now force you to have to put in, not just suggest, but force you to use a subdomain so that you don't make that mistake.
Yeah, they do. If you check that box, you have to enter text for a subdomain in the edit field next to it.
Okay. I seem to remember a time when they didn't do such things. But again, I give them credit for improving the process, although that is sometimes annoying when it's like, hey, this domain is never going to do anything but send email from this web app. So,
Yeah.
but
Although,
whatever.
I will say, and then we can wrap it up for today. When I opened a new, are they called products in SES? Nope. In AWS. Anyways, like when I opened SES, or if I would have opened Route 52, which I'm not using, or any of the other apps or tools, it has these little cards now that are accessible that you click through or hit enter or space on, and it walks you through getting started with that particular service. So
Again, new feature. Well, not new feature, but new-ish since I started using it. And also the accessibility of their interface has dramatically improved.
Yes.
Again, give them a pat on the back for that. I will give credit where credit is due. They have done an amazing job improving their services. Not just the usefulness, but the guiding of people through it, so you don't have to feel like you need a CS degree in order to, just set up a damn bucket to store some media files in. Like, can I do this? Or, the accessibility has really gotten better. Like that, man, if you ain't lived it, you don't worry about it. But
don't ask your parents.
No, do not ask your parents. Don't ask me anyway. It'll start me on a whole 30-minute rant about Amazon. Now, speaking of Amazon and accessibility, before we wrap it up, the hell is going on with your shopping website, dude? That's all I'm gonna say about that.
But we had the keystrokes to get you to your shopping cart.
Yeah, them don't work on the Mac. Just want to point that
or
out.
Windows.
Oh, okay. Well, they don't work at all. Okay, that's all we're gonna say
They might
about
work
that.
in Windows. I haven't tried them in quite a while, but still, like, no, thank you.
Okay. Well, that's all I'm gonna say about that. Which is funny, right? Your most complicated, complex, non-user facing thing is really great on accessibility. The place where people really would spend all their freaking money, you make it hard to shop. Hey, maybe that's their secret plan. We're not ever gonna get sued for being addictive because we make it hard to do what you're trying to do. All right. We will check in on some feedback next week. We want to thank everybody for listening. I feel like this has been an amazing episode. All of them are amazing, but I just really feel like this one has been, amazing too. And I want to say it during the episode. You can follow Michael on Mastodon. He is Payon, PAYOWN at dragonscave.space. I'm Damashe, DAMASHE at technically.social. I need to post something this week before the end of the week. I think I'm on like a 3-week streak where I've posted something to Mastodon at least once.
That's pretty good. Are you scheduling them or are you actually posting them?
I was just posting news articles I was reading that I felt were either particularly outrageous or like, hey, just so you know, this thing right here is going on. Sort of
Oh, and I
deal.
figured out why you want to pay for Mona if you're going to be using it. I tried to go filter retweets out of my feed today, and it's like, oh, this is dimmed. You need to pay for it. So I think I figured out why I'm going to upgrade to 7.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm a more kind person than Mike. I try to support developers because I know they're indies. Not gonna throw you some money for not doing anything, but it's like I'm gonna use your app enough over its lifetime. I'll go ahead and pay you for it. I'm a little more. Mike's a penny pincher, man. He's like, man, listen, my stocks just went down by 0.042%.
Yeah, I think I complained the other day. I'm like, everything just went down 1% or 0.5% or something.
Yeah, listen, when you got the kind of money Mike got, 0.5% makes a big difference. Just telling you. Follow our bot who ain't been posting nothing but the show lately because, well, I've been occupied doing my stuff. So, screw that bot. No, we're going to get some automation going with the bot. Oh, man, I just had an idea for a thing.
Oh, boy.
Okay. I don't know. We'll do something with Claude Code to automate the bot posting stuff that's random and weird and interesting that we would probably talk about.
Ooh.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
And the bot could post randomly about how it built itself.
Look how amazing I am because I built it. See, I built this. I built the thing that let me say that I built this. I am amazing. Oh, wait, those chumps posted another show. Here's the link. All right, anyway, back to how great I am. Okay.
It'll be the carrot bot for technically working.
Okay, now I kind of want that, though. That's the sad part about it is I kind of want that.
You have an OpenAI API. I bet you can put it together with Claude. It'll get its content from OpenAI.
Yeah, if anybody got some ideas on how to get started with that, because I understand for to go spend a bunch of time on it right now, but I kind of want that. I'm gonna put that on my someday list. That would be amazing. Follow the bot, TW at technically.social. Who knows when that might start happening. Hashtag technically working. We'll appreciate it if you capitalize TNW. Thank you very much. No, I don't know anything about threads and I don't care. Feedback at technicallyworking.show is how you can get us email. I have seen emails come in. I even read one of them on Monday.
And someone followed the bot. I saw that email because now I'm finally getting the emails.
I don't remember what the email said. And then Mike said we had another email that came in.
I think it was probably the same email you read on Monday.
So we will follow up on some of those next week, though. That's what we'll do. Because I read them and then I forgot. And I've been trying to call people all day. Listen, anyway, you heard about my day partially. It wasn't even a rant. I feel it was constructive.
It was.
So there we go. We're improving.
This
a little bit at a time, every day.
TW147.
And so we thank everybody for listening. Tell a friend about the show. Big shout out to our supporters, our tip jar supporters. Fuck, I ain't said that in a while. Hey, shout out to subscriber number 1. Thanks everybody for listening. This has been Technically Working episode number
147.